Imagine killing 50 ducks with one pull of the trigger. In the late 1800s, hunters on the Chesapeake Bay did exactly that. And one of those hunters was Nathan Cobbs Jr. Nathan Cobbs Jr. was born in 1825 on Cobb Island, a small island in the lower portion of Chesapeake Bay near the border of Virginia and Maryland. His father was Nathan Cobbs Sr. He was already a well-known waterman and a waterfowl hunter who made his living from the bay. At the time Nathan Jr. was born, the Chesapeake Bay was one of the richest waterfowl habitats on the continent. Immense rafts of ducks, especially canvasbacks, redhead, scaup, and black ducks, wintered in the bay by the millions. The birds fed heavily on wild celery, a submerged aquatic plant that gave Chesapeake canvasbacks their legendary flavor. The region's economy revolved around the water. Families survived by oyster harvest.
One,
Kid can't even read.
Two.
Cut it out, dude. You're gonna get us in trouble.
Today, Junior!
Commercial fishing and market hunting. Now, young Nathan grew up surrounded by boats, decoys, and firearms. By the time he was a boy, he could already handle a skiff in a rough bay.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Identify duck species by the sound and flight, like all of us should be able to if you're a waterfowl hunter. You should be able to know that and be able to do that. And shoot proficiently.
This is my rifle, this is my gun, this is for fun and this is for fun.
The rise of market hunting. During Nathan Cobbs Jr.'s youth, America's cities were exploding in population. Railroads and ice shipping allowed fresh meat, including wild game, to be transported along long distances.
Oh shit! Move it, man! Go on, move it!
Restaurants in the cities like Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City paid extremely high prices for waterfowl. Canvasback ducks were considered one of the finest delicacies in the country. Wealthy diners would pay premium prices for them during winter. As a result, Chesapeake Bay hunters began transitioning from subsistence hunting into full-scale commercial operations. The Cobbs family quickly became one of the most successful in the area.
We were real happy with what was going on, and at the end of the day, you know, you got to be happy.
The Cobb Island hunting operations. By the 1870s, Nathan Cobbs Jr. had joined his father in running a large hunting operation based around Cobb Island, which had become famous as a hunting destination. Their operation included multiple hunting boats, large decoy spreads, commercial shipping connections, crews of hunters and assistants. They targeted large rafts of diving ducks that congregated over submerged weed beds. Hunters often worked in teams. One crew located ducks, one crew maintained decoys, one crew handled transport and shipping. And birds, well, they were packed in barrels and shipped by boat or rail to major markets. Now, this is a really cool system that they developed back then. Nathan Cobbs Jr. became famous for operating battery boats, a unique Chesapeake hunting system developed by his father. These boats were called Cobb Island battery boats. They were essentially floating hunting platforms designed for large-scale market shooting. The key features were extremely low profile, barely visible above water. So that means they were just sticking just a few inches above water. Rows of large shotguns mounted along the front of the boat. hunters lying flat inside the boat. Large decoy spreads surrounding the vessels to keep them more hidden, because all they're sticking up is just about above their face, just like that. The hunters could fire multiple guns in rapid successions into large flocks of ducks. This allowed hunters to harvest dozens of birds at a single volley. This method was devastatingly effective on the waterfowl. The daily life of a market hunter. Market hunters like Cobb worked brutally long days. A typical winter routine basically was before dawn, boats launched in freezing weather, decoys got deployed before the morning light. The morning flight, they were shooting during peak duck movement, and at midday, they collected birds, they were resetting spreads. In the afternoon, another round of hunting. In the evening / nighttime was cleaning birds, packing shipments. Then the birds were shipped packed in ice or cold storage barrels. A good day could produce hundreds of ducks. The Chesapeake Bay duck boom. During Cobb's prime, the Chesapeake supported staggering waterfowl numbers. Observers reported ducks covering the water for miles. Rafts of canvasback numbering tens of thousands. Market gunners harvesting thousands of birds per season. That's crazy. But the success came at a cost. By the 1890s, signs of decline became apparent. Major factors including overhunting, habitat destruction, decline of wild celery beds is a huge thing for them. Still, hunters like Cobb continued working because it was their livelihood on the line. The beginning of the end. In 1900, the United States passed the Lacey Act of 1900. This law made it illegal to transport illegally taken wildlife across state lines. For market hunters, this was catastrophic. The entire industry depends on shipping birds to different cities across the United States. Without interstate trade, large-scale operations, hence the Cobb Island market hunting, would eventually collapse. Many professional gunners were forced to find other work. Some became fishing guides, commercial fishermen, hunting guides for wealthy sportsmen. And for Nathan Cobb, that meant pursuing his dream of carving decoys full-time. And now the Cobb's decoys are worth a fortune. And they are beautiful, and they are a true masterpiece of art. The later life of Nathan Cobbs Jr. After federal regulations began tightening, Nathan Cobbs Jr. gradually stepped away from the large-scale market hunting. Like many Chesapeake watermen, he transitioned to other bay industries. He remained a respectful figure in the region and continued working on the water for much of his life. Despite being part of an industry later blamed for wildlife declines, Cobb was remembered as an expert waterman, a skilled hunter, and a product of his era. The death and legacy. Nathan Cobbs Jr. died in 1905, shortly after his brother Warren, who died in 1903. By the time of his death, the era he represented had completely disappeared. The United States had enacted major conservation laws, including the Migratory Bird Treaty Act of 1918. This law effectively ended market hunting for migratory birds, and ironically, the ducks that Cobb once harvested by the thousands were now protected under strict regulation. Today, the Chesapeake Bay remains one of North America's most famous waterfowl regions through population and habitat. Though populations and habitat have changed dramatically. Now, some of you may be asking, why does Nathan Cobbs Jr. matter? Well, he represented a key moment in America's hunting history. The transitions from subsistence hunting to industrial market hunting to modern conservation today. Market hunters like Cobb didn't see themselves as villains. They were simply making a living in a time before wildlife regulations existed. But their impact forced America to rethink its relationship with wildlife. Now, if you ask me, back then, I would love to see the millions of ducks and geese that were flying around back then. But in today's standard, we don't have the ducks and geese like they did. And because of that, I am very thankful of the Treaty Act, the Migratory Bird Act, the Lacey Act, etc. I'm happy for all of that conservation. And now this dude, he was a badass back then, and his decoys are gorgeous. That's the end of this. That's the end of story of Nathan Cobbs Jr. Thanks for watching, and I'm Porter with Midwest Outdoor Tactics. Stay tuned for the next one.